I'm not sugarcoating anything. Like, this has been so hard.
So I just got 2 burps out.
I have meconium all over her. And I have to remember to just put those in my bra, or else I'm just going through so many nursing bras at this point. Not to the point where like I'm crying over it anymore, which is what the baby blues are. Perfect baby throughout the day. And I don't like co-sleeping at all, but yeah, like the engorgement, the shock, the bleeding, the pain, just everything is. So always before feeding, I kind of let her start waking up, and I also change her diaper. I don't want to say like I want to get her angry. If I get her more awake, it's just easier for the nursing. So far, it's been every 3 hours, so right now my boobs are like burning beyond belief. And also this time around, I've been using the Spectra pump, and this is probably my favorite part. Like in the middle of the night. Thanks, Mila. Mommy's just feeding baby, okay? They're pretty good about like when I ask them to like, I tell them how I'm feeding the baby, and I just, well, Gino's out there #1 and the TV's on, so, but like earlier when I had to feed her, I gave them snacks on the couch, and I like came in here and said, Mommy's feeding the baby, and then I showered and stuff. So they're pretty good, and like I said, I wasn't really worried about them because they entertain each other like a lot, and my house is baby proofed or toddler proofed, so if they run around going crazy, it's like completely fine. So it's the next day. In 2 more days, I'll be 2 weeks postpartum. But today overall, like, I feel a little bit more content. Like, I don't feel as like teary right now. So I hope that the last, like, you know, what was that, like 3 or 4 days ago, I hope that was like the end of the baby blues. I hope I'm starting to come out of it a little bit, because it's been 2 days since I've cried. But anyway, I just want to talk about Adeline real quick. Last night, she was like a freaking beast. Like, would not go to sleep. Like, for, I'm talking like 4 to 5 hours. Like, that's insane for a newborn to like not sleep that long. Like, you know, our feedings are perfect throughout the day, and I do literally the same exact thing, except that time zone, once we hit that 5, 6, 7 o'clock, it gets like so bad. But last night she was like really fussy at like 6 o'clock, so then we put her back down. I'm like so scared by like 8 o'clock because I knew she was still sleeping. Like, I have to feed her. I'm like, I have a feeling this isn't gonna be good. And she was up from that time to 1 in the morning. Like, I kept trying to feed her, clean diaper, just everything was, I don't know what else could have been more wrong, but she was screaming her head off. Like, just like her colic hour, nighttime, whatever she does every single night. And like I said, she's literally perfect throughout the day. Last night was like really difficult. I'm really scared for tonight, but yeah. And then and I know like a lot of it, she was probably like so overtired, but once she you know, once I think it was like 12:31, whatever, she then did like a 4-hour stretch. But yeah, last night just wasn't the best. I'm gonna continue to share this journey because it's been crazy. It feels very different than my other 2. I think that's just how it's supposed to be. So I'm officially 2 weeks postpartum. I can't believe that it's just been 2 weeks. It's like so crazy. It's 11:20 in the morning, and I remember this time, this is like an hour before things started to get like super like crazy intense. I don't think I really like went over exactly what happened, and I just finished editing my labor and delivery vlog. I mean, not that I couldn't get that much, but once it got past that time frame and I started to get in like excruciating pain from that Pitocin. That was the first time I was ever on Pitocin, and I know like I spoke about like I was a little iffy about it. Well, number one, it was way more painful than natural labor coming on. Like natural labor is still painful, and I mean natural meaning like your body goes into labor naturally. Way more painful, way worse contractions. I don't think I told you guys too, when Adeline came out, she actually had meconium all over her. They didn't say she went inside me, but I think like as soon as she came out or was coming out, like it was all over. So, and I know that's a sign of stress because like usually like it's kind of more common if you go like overdue, but she was 38 weeks, 4 days. Like I was kind of like, or I was considered, I think, like preterm, not even like full term at 39 weeks. Yeah, it's just crazy. Before I forget, because I'm gonna keep picking up the camera and kind of updating on how I'm feeling while she's sleeping right now. My baby blues, they're definitely fading away. Like I filmed myself, I think like 4 or 5 days ago. It's actually Thanksgiving today. Like I said, I usually get them really, really intense, super teary, crying a lot. I always like miss my pregnancy. It's just like a shock, like everything. The feeling of missing the pregnancy is starting to fade. Thankfully, I mean, I'm still a little bit sad about it. I'm still missing it, but it's not to the point where like I'm crying over it anymore, which is what the baby blues are. I'm getting like just used to having a newborn again, the lack of sleep, which I'll talk about maybe in a second. Still bleeding down there, not a lot. It's starting to fade out too, but I'm still having to wear pads, but everything is like feeling like less sore, which is also good. So things are heading in the right direction. Again, still a little postpartum-y, but not like how I was, like especially those first like few days. It's so hard those first few days, at least for me, before your milk comes in. Like right now, like my milk, I have a full milk supply now. But yeah, like the engorgement, the shock, the bleeding, the pain, the just everything is so hard, especially that first week. She's sleeping right now. She's still feeding every 3 hours. I actually have to wake her up for pretty much every single feeding. The good news is she still is feeding really well. I can tell she grew. She just like feels bigger to me. Really good wet diapers and everything. And pretty much her feeding is from 15 to 20 minutes. I think I was saying I also am dealing with a little bit of an oversupply, which is not, I'm not shocked. Like I had an oversupply with Mila and with Sebastian because I have to pump my one side. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but we're also just in the middle of like prepping some stuff for Thanksgiving. We're going to his mom's house. I hope that it's not going to be like kind of hard or like weird being out that long. If anything, we'll just come back to the house if like I feel like a little overwhelmed or something, if I need a break. But yeah, Adeline loves her bassinet during the day, has 0 issues, and has some problems just at night so far, which I guess I'll just briefly, I'll talk about that right now. So not last night, but the 3 nights before that, it was getting like so severe. Like her witching hours started from like 6 to like 10 o'clock, but like not last night, but the night before, it was from I think 6:45 till 2:30 in the morning. Like no matter what me and Gino did, screaming, crying, inconsolable. Like she was like definitely like beyond overtired. Like we knew like that was the problem, but we could not get her back to sleep. I guess like she was so stressed out from being so overtired. Like it wouldn't matter. I would nurse her, she'd be the same way. I even tried pumping and giving through a bottle, same thing. Put her in the bassinet, put her on her chest, try to sleep with her in the bed. Literally nothing. That was like the worst night ever, and I was getting like, I was really scared. The next morning when I woke up, I was like, how am I gonna deal with this? Right? I decided to, because she's dealing with a little bit of like reflux, which is weird. It doesn't happen during the day, only happens during that time of the night, like just like crazy spitting up. But last night we ended up having to, and I hate to say it, but like I was so desperate. Like I probably slept 6 or 7 hours within 3 days. Like it was just like so bad. So I went to bed at 7:30, 8, like fed her and stuff, and I kept her elevated on me. And I tried sleeping like this, like my neck like this, and my, you know, everything was really stiff. I tried putting her in the bassinet, and it was like immediately woke up, getting really fussy. So then I'm like, you know, screw it, like, you know what I mean? So I slept on my side and slept with her like in a C shape, and I had her then nursing my boob a little bit, and then she finally fell asleep. She spit up all over my bra, all over the bed, all on me. But then she was like, okay, but like I just like didn't move. So that was from 9:30 till like 2:45 at night. So she did a nice stretch, woke her up because my boobs were killing me, fed her, and then Gino put her on his chest, and she was like having hiccups and, you know, had a little bit of trouble falling asleep, and then eventually fell asleep on his chest, which then that lasted till 6. So we slept last night, and I don't like co-sleeping at all, but like we're just so desperate, and I don't want her to be stressed. I don't know, and I'm just admitting it because it really did happen. I know like people say that and then get a lot of like crap for it, and I've never had a baby where I had to do that ever, and it scares me a lot, and I hopefully tonight I don't have to do that, because that's not really my goal. I invested in renting this bassinet for safe sleep. She's fine with it during the day. It's just at night. I don't know. Ugh. Perfect baby throughout the day. But I think it's just her esophagus is still, like, she's very little. Like, she's still like 6 pounds. So I think everything is just like still like really weak, and that's why she keeps spitting up. And I also have like a very fast letdown. Like I even started to like pump like 2 ounces out first to like get rid of that initial shock. Just being honest, this is just how it is right now. You know, I'm not sugarcoating anything. Like, this has been so hard, and you would think, oh, your third baby, it gets easier, but it's harder in different ways. Like every single time, like the first, the second, and third like had like a different challenge. But we're 2 weeks in. Things are, I feel like, lifting a little bit, and I don't want to rush this time because it's, you know, it's like also so sad. I'm like, oh, it's been 2 weeks already, but like it also gets easier as time goes on. Okay, exactly 3 hours, and we're gonna feed. Something really funny happened when I used to nurse just Mila, like, and not like pumping it through bottles. My boobs leak so much more. Like, they actually started leaking. I was like, oh no, and I like checked the timer, and then she woke up and it's time to feed. So I just finished feeding her. That was a total of 15 minutes, and I usually just wait for her to, like, you know, I can kind of just tell she's done. But this is what I'm just doing for now. I just hold her up a little bit elevated, and then I begin to start burping her, or else we'll run into like the spit up problem. This is how much I got from the opposite side that I don't use, that she can't latch off of, or any baby has been able to latch off of. Like when I pump that boob, so like if you have pumped before, you can kind of like tell, like my good nipple has 5 or 6 like holes of like milk, like you can like tell the milk coming out, and this one only has like 1 or 2, because that's how like inverted it is. So that's why I pump it out, and I'm not drying up my left side and having one gigantic boob, so that's why I'm kind of like stuck with this. She definitely had a really good feeding, I can just tell. And I have to remember to just put those in my bra, or else I'm just going through so many nursing bras at this point. And I do use a nipple shield, so, because my nipple was bleeding at one point, and then that's just kind of what we got used to. I don't mind it because it's still kind of like, it's sore. Like I feel like I still need some time, and she can still be a little lazy with her eating.
So I just got 2 burps out.
And then I just ended up finishing pumping. There's still like some left over in that boob. And I know some people are probably gonna be like, oh, well, don't pump it, you're creating an oversupply, but it just hurts so bad. I mean, I don't know what to do. I think I'm just someone that oversupplies. It actually happened just with all 3 babies. I think I need to get some bibs. I think I'm gonna give her first bath tonight because she's 2 weeks old. I have a lot of breast milk. I'm just gonna fill it up with like a giant breast milk bath because her skin's really dry right now. We're about to go to his mom's to start Thanksgiving. She's all fed. She did 2 Dukes, so she's all good and clean. Just some extra stuff. I honestly just plan on wearing her the entire time just because, yeah, that's just kind of what I feel is best to do right now, and it's kind of like easier because she'll sleep for the next like 2.5 hours until I have to feed her. Real quick, we all live on the same property here. Like we split over 100 acres, so it's like our house, his one brother's house, his other brother's house, and then his parents is like a mile down. So I'm just gonna come back up here when it's time to feed. So it's like really nice, if that makes sense. I know that may like sound confusing, but that's just kind of like what we did like when we moved here. I can't wait for all this postpartum hair to fall out. I mean, like, this is probably fallen out. So, okay, it grew during my pregnancy with Mila, then fell out, then grew back. Then I got pregnant with Sebastian. It grew, fell out, and then came back. And now I got pregnant with Adeline, and it grew, and now it's gonna fall out and then come back. Like, these pieces of hair just have like no break. I'm just loving baby wearing. I didn't do it with my other 2. I feel like it's really helped with the bonding and just, you know, taking advantage of like how little she is right now. And it just, you know, makes us feel connected again.